Hello students. In this video lecture, we are going to study about the solution of heat equation in cylindrical polar coordinates. This is the method of solution is similar to that what we have studied in variable separable method, or also known as Fourier decomposition method, while solving the heat equation in Cartesian coordinate system. So here what we are going to do is we are going to write the heat equation dou u by dou t is equal to kappa del square u, the three-dimensional heat equation. We are going to write it in cylindrical polar coordinates. Here only the thing that we have to write in cylindrical polar coordinates is the Laplacian operator del square, which we already have studied in our undergraduate classes, like expressing the divergence, curl, gradient, and also the Laplacian in terms of cylindrical and spherical polar coordinates. We are going to make use of Laplacian in cylindrical polar coordinates and solve by variable separable method. So the heat equation in cylindrical polar coordinates looks like this equation 1. So you can see that it is dou u by dou t is equal to kappa del square u. So kappa del square u. So you can the del square would be in cylindrical coordinates would be dou square by dou r square plus 1 by r dou by dou r plus 1 by r square dou square by dou theta square plus dou square by dou z square. And you can see here once again that u is a function of t, r, theta and z. So u is dependent variable, whereas r, theta, z and t are independent variables. So like in the Fourier decomposition method, here also we assume the solution u as a product of the functions of the independent variables, like function of r, function of theta, function of z and function of t. So let us assume u of r, theta, z, t is equal to function of r into function of theta into function of z into function of t. They are respectively capital R, capital H, capital Z and capital T. So call this as equation 2. So once we have assumed equation 2 as the solution of 1, which means that equation 2 must and should satisfy equation 1. So what we will do is we will take this equation 2 and substitute in equation 1. So our problem is now to find these functions capital R, capital H, capital Z and capital T. So for that we shall take this equation 2 and substitute in equation 1. So while doing so, you will be getting this equation. So here you can see that the partial derivatives are replaced by ordinary derivatives, and when we are differentiating u with respect to t, the functions of r, theta and z becomes constant. Similarly, when you are differentiating u with respect to r, functions of t, theta and z becomes constants and so on. So using that concept, this equation is written and the partial derivatives are replaced by ordinary derivatives, because when you substitute u as the product of functions of independent variables, you see that dou u by dou t means u now function of r, theta and z will come outside. So you will be having a function of only t being differentiated with respect to t. Therefore, it is justified why we have replaced the partial derivative by ordinary derivative. So now you can see that the functions are mixed up. With a function of t, we have function of r, theta, z. With a function of r, we have function of theta, z and t and so on. So divide throughout by r, h, z, t and kappa. So once you divide, you are going to get this equation. And you can see here, when you get this equation, you can see that on the left hand side we have a function of t and the right hand side we have a function of r, theta and z. So a function of t can be equal to a function of r, theta and z, because all of them are independent variables only when both of them are constants. So we shall take this constants to be minus k square. So the argument why we have taken minus k square, we already know this to get a physically relevant solution. So now equate first term with the third term and second term with the third term. So now when you equate first term with the third term and write all terms, bring all terms to one side, you will be getting an equation of the form dt by dt plus k square kappa t is equal to 0, which is essentially a first order ordinary differential equation, and the solution is t of t is equal to a e to the power minus k square kappa t. Call this as equation 3. So look at that. We were supposed to find capital R, capital H, capital Z and capital T, of which we have already found here capital T. So it remains to find capital R, capital H and capital Z. So for that we have second term to be equated with the third term. We can see that here we have function of R, function of theta and function of Z. So we have to solve this equation or look into this equation to get this capital R, capital H and capital Z. So you write that equation in this particular form. So why it is being written here is, you can see here. So this last term of second term of this equation is independent of R and theta. So it is pure function of Z. So bring it to the other side. So this is what you are going to get. So when you bring, already minus k square is there. So this is what you are going to get. And now what you do is, this is pure function of Z. Therefore, just take that and equate it to one constant. D square Z by dz square. Again, why it should be constant means, you can see here a function of R is there, function of theta is there. And if it is equal to so it is a function of R and function of theta equal to function of Z, it can be, it should be a constant. Together it should be a constant, only then this is possible. Therefore, let us take d square z by dz square into 1 by z is equal to m square, which is, once again, if you bring all the terms to one side, this you see that it is a second order ordinary differential equation with constant coefficients, where you will be getting the auxiliary equation. With the help of auxiliary equation, you can see that the roots are real and distinct. Hence, you can write the solution z of z as b e to the power mz plus c e to the power minus mz. Call this as equation 6. So you have equation 4. What we have assumed, d square z by dz square into 1 by z equal to m square. We shall call it as equation 5, because we need to be using this equation 5 again in equation 4 to get the functions, to separate the functions of r and theta. So you have got, see here, again we have got in the previous step, previous equation, equation 3 we had got function t, capital T, and in equation 6 we have got capital Z. So we just have to find now capital R and capital H. For that, again let us go back to equation 4 and use equation 5 in it. So what is that we are going to get is, so once you use this as equation, here this will be m square. So you will have minus m square minus k square. And you can see here again, this would be pure function of theta if r square was not there. So multiply throughout by r square and use equation 5. So you are going to get equation 7. So while writing equation 7, what has been done is, function of r is brought to the left hand side and function of theta is been taken to the right hand side. Once again, make use of the property that a function of r can be equal to function of theta only when both of them are constants. So now from equation 7, second and third term is again a second order ordinary differential equation with constant coefficients, and you can see that the roots are here complex. Therefore, you can write the solution h of theta in terms of, see, these are all constants. We can write this. You can see that this will be m square, d square plus n square equal to 0. D is equal to plus or minus in. So you can write this as h of theta is some constant times cos n theta plus some constant of times sin n theta. Because a, b, c are already used. Here we have used the constants d and e. Call this as equation 8. So once again, just look at equation 8. We have got the function capital H. So from 3 we got capital T, from 6 we got capital Z, and from 8 we got capital H. So only capital R has to be found, and for that we have again, we'll go back to equation 7 and take the first term and equate it with n square. So bring n square to the, equate it to n square and bring n square to the left hand side. So this is what you are going to get, and multiply throughout by capital R and simplify this numerator term. You are going to get this equation 9. This is a simple algebra which you can easily do. You can see that this equation is nothing but a Bessel's equation, and whose solution? Equation 9. This equation 9 is the Bessel's equation, and solution may be written as R of R is equal to f jn of f and g are constants, that's all. It is jn of r plus gyn of r, but in place of r, the Bessel's equation, in place of r we have see, just r square minus n square used to be there in Bessel's equation, but here in place of only r square we have m square plus k square into r square. Therefore we have to write root of that. When we write r, it should be root of m square plus k square. So you will be getting jn root k square plus m square times r. Okay, this r is not under the root, so this root is up to only m square into r, root k square plus m square into r. Once again this r is outside the root, so call this as equation 10. So look at that, equation 3, equation 6, equation 8 and equation 10 gave us all the functions, capital R, capital H, capital Z and capital T. So where and here in this equation 10, Jn and Yn are Bessel's functions of first and second kind of order n. Okay, of order n. So using these equations 3, 6, 8 and 10, which are 3 gave us a capital T, 6 gave us capital Z, 8 gave us capital H and 10 gave us capital R. We may write the solution of the diffusion equation in the form u of r theta z t is equal to just take the product of all these terms. So see here T 3, equation 3, 6 capital Z. So capital T, capital Z, capital H and capital R. So this is the final solution or the required solution of the heat equation in cylindrical polar coordinates. And what about these constants A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Yes, we can find them even the initial and boundary conditions are specified. Okay. From this equation 9, from this equation 9, it is clear that the separable solution of diffusion equation in cylindrical polar coordinates gives us the Bessel's equation as part of the solution procedure. So while solving this equation, we are going to get the Bessel's equation. So this is all about the solution of heat equation in cylindrical polar coordinates. Thank you.